geology. First of all, you might be wondering, what is geology? Well, geology is the study of rocks. It's the study of the Earth's surface, underneath Earth's surface, and basically anywhere where there's rock. So we have lunar geologists, people that study moon rocks, and we also have geologists that study rocks from Mars, Aeolian geologists, right? All of these different types of geologists are all studying rocks, and there's really only 3 basic types of rocks. And do you happen to know what they are? I'll fill you in. They are igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. So igneous rocks are formed by molten rock. Like if you were to take this chunk of rock here and heat it up, it would melt down into a liquid so that you could pour it. Sometimes this molten rock occurs underground and it cools and it forms giant crystals, and this rock tends to be very hard, and when it gets exposed to the surface, this often forms the basis of mountains. We also have igneous rock that can form on the surface. These are better known to most folks as volcanoes. That's right, volcanoes erupting out onto the surface of the earth. And here in western Colorado, we're lucky because we have both of those types of rocks right around here. On top of the Grand Mesa, we have igneous rocks that are the remnants of old lava flows that covered a high plateau area. And we also have igneous rocks that can be found deep down in the gorges of our national conservation areas that have intruded into old rock. And they also form the basis of mountains like the San Juan Mountains further south of here. So we have all of those different types of igneous rock right here in western Colorado. The second type of rock is metamorphic rock. These metamorphic rocks are formed under intense heat and pressure, but not so hot that the rock starts to melt. This is sort of an intermediate phase in between rocks from the surface or rocks underground that haven't started to melt and rocks that are melted. They undergo metamorphosis, hence the name metamorphic rock. Think about a butterfly. It undergoes metamorphosis, right? Goes from a little caterpillar that's inching along to a beautiful butterfly flying away. That's metamorphosis. Metamorphic rocks undergo a transition that is no less astounding than that of the caterpillar, as they turn solid rock into completely different chemical makeups. Elements detach from one another, their bonds break, and they reform into new structures, and they can be twisted and warped, just like you would bend around a hot piece of plastic, or you can bend around paper or any other soft, malleable substance. These rocks can get twisted and folded up. Those dark gorges on the inside of McInnes Canyons National Conservation Area, in the Black Rocks area. Or if you go up into Dominguez Escalante National Conservation Area, look at the waterfalls in there. Or if you're down in Gunnison Gorge National Conservation Area, in the Deep Gorge, all of those black rocks are metamorphic. They form the basis of a giant mountain range that existed here over 1 billion years ago. And this mountain range was so massive that it warped and twisted those rocks because it was so heavy. All that pressure pushing those rocks down.
Well, most of the rock types that we have in our landscape here are the sedimentary rocks. So when you're looking out at this landscape, what you'll see oftentimes, and most people remark about, is how you can see all these different layers of rocks. And that's usually a really good hallmark for sedimentary rocks in a landscape, especially if you're just looking at it from, say, an overlook. Everything is relatively horizontal. You do see some interesting features out there that maybe suggest something else is going on, but generally the rocks are horizontal and you see different layers in there. Those layers are differentiated between themselves by the color, by the fact that some of them make more slopes instead of cliffs, indicating different types of rocks and their ability to resist weathering. Mostly what you see behind me is Jurassic in age. That's starting off with the red rocks down near the river. That's called the Entrada Formation, and that is Jurassic in age and formed in a desert environment not too dissimilar from the Sahara today. And as you go upward from there, you see a variety of different other rocks that make a variety of either cliffs or ledges or slopes. And then the slopes are generally mud rocks, are shales. Those are mixed in with some sandstone ledges, and those ledges were formed in river systems.